This is part 5 to Drea and Amelia's Vacation from Hell 1 through 4 in the playlist titled Vacation Timeline Shift. 1 through 3 are pinned. Now, during this episode, we're going to backtrack a little bit because I want to give you the overview of what actually happened to Amelia in this timeline. That morning, after her husband's mother and the kids leave, she talks to Charity on the phone, and Charity said that she's going to be mailing her a package of old letters and old pictures that she knew that Amelia would want Drea and Andrea to have. Charity and Drea, after Amelia's passing, went on to become the best of friends, where they weren't before. Like I say, Charity was even her maid of honor at Drea's wedding. Drea's husband's still in the kitchen fixing him some coffee and something to eat that morning for breakfast. And after she gets off the phone with Charity, she kind of sits down on the couch and she's sitting there thinking to herself about everything that Charity had told her in this timeline about the occurrence in which she found her sister. Amelia's parents had both passed away. Her mother was the last one to go. And she left them a little bit of life insurance and their family home in their hometown to both the girls, Charity and Amelia. And Charity's off going to college or whatever, and she comes home like every weekend, every other weekend. But after Amelia has the baby, after she has Andy, she gets really bad hooked on OCs, perks, anything she can pretty much get her hands on. And Charity doesn't find this out up until probably right about 3 to 4 weeks before Amelia's passing. She can tell something's really off because every time she will come home, she's like the built-in babysitter. Amelia leaves the baby, she's gone. So much so to where Charity was supposed to return to school on a Sunday night to be ready for Monday morning and ended up having to miss that Monday because she couldn't find her sister. Finally, that morning, Amelia, after Charity's already missing school and everything else, she gets in touch with Charity and is on the phone crying, saying that she's at a hotel room. So Charity loads the baby up and goes to the motel room where her sister is. And her sister is explaining to her that all she does is cry all the time. And she doesn't really want to be around the baby, and that she loves the baby, but she's having a hard time loving the baby. She expresses that she's having deep sorrow, feelings of guilt, and she tells her basically, hey, I'm strung out on prescription medication. And Charity's like, oh, fuck, man. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have any parents. Yeah, we have the family house. Now, my sister has a baby. I'm supposed to be at school. What do I do? So she decides that she's going to call Drea. And Drea doesn't answer the phone. And at this point, it's do or die. She can take that day off or whatever, but by the next day, she has got to be back at school. And basically, Amelia was like, I'm not even taking them I'm just taking them to maintain and to function. I'm so depressed. And she was out of her own prescription, so she was on the hunt for Red October, basically. Finally, Drea calls back that afternoon, and Charity's getting ready to leave because she has no choice. And she says that she will be down that weekend. What can they do until then? They are going to try to get her into rehab either there, close by, or Seattle, where Drea is. But as luck would have it, there were no beds open for that week. So Andrea, Drea, and Charity are on speakerphone. They're talking to Amelia, and they're asking her, can you maintain until Saturday at lunch, at least? And she tells them, no, not without medication, because she'll become violently ill. So Andrea tells Charity to call her doctor and see if he can't call her in something early, and he does. Andrea calls her mom and dad and tells her mom, can you go over there? Is there any way I can get you to stay a few days with her till I can take off work and come this weekend? And she says, yeah, sure. And it's easier that way. That way she's not having to pack up all of Andy's stuff, all the baby stuff, and haul it all over to Andrea's mom's. The whole week goes by. Charity and Andrea are both checking in with Andrea's mom to see how everything's going, talking to Amelia on a regular basis. Everything sounds fine. Now, that Friday at 1 o'clock, Andrea's mom has to leave to go to the heart doctor with her husband to see if he's going to have surgery. But she's only going to be gone about 2 hours. And everything looks copacetic. Everything looks fine. So she does exactly that. Which Charity reassures her is fine because she's got a short day that Friday and she's going to be home earlier. Andrea's mom had only been gone for about an hour and a half when Charity showed up. She said immediately upon walking up to the front door, you can hear the baby upstairs crying. So she goes in and she calls her name, Amelia. Nothing. And she said that she walked upstairs and she walked slow because she knew something was wrong. She felt it. She said the room was kind of dark as all the shades were pulled, but you could see the glare from the TV, and the door was kind of half cocked open. And she slowly opened the door, and she was like, maybe she's just asleep, and she flicked the light on. And that's when she saw her there in the bed next to the baby. So she calls 911, gets Andrea on the phone, gets Andrea's mom on the phone, the whole nine. And this is the part that we kick off the rest of their lives. But that's the overview of what happened to Amelia in this timeline.